Hi Cancer, welcome to the last month of the year and welcome to this December 2024 horoscope. Before we get into what December has in store for you, I wanted to let you know that I am doing personalized year ahead readings for 2025. I have left the link for them down below in the description box and in the comments, so make sure you check them out and make sure you book one because there are only 5 of them available. We start off the month on December 1st with a new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. This new moon is happening in your 6th house of work, of service, of your health and day-to-day routine. So what you might find is that you are starting a new adventure in that area of your life. Perhaps you're starting a new workout regime or a new health routine. Or perhaps you're also really having ideas about how you can be of service to the rest of the world, how you can help others with something unique that you have that nobody else has. I have posted an entire video of this new moon in Sagittarius, so I'll leave it right here for you. It's much more in depth and we go through all of the zodiac signs. So if you want to know more about the new moon, then make sure you check that one out. On December 4th, we have the Sun squaring Saturn. And this will be affecting your 6th and 9th house. So even though we just said you're starting a new adventure when it comes to your workout or you're getting new ideas about how to be of service to others, quite soon thereafter with the Saturn square, you might feel like that's blocked in some way. You might feel like you need to think of a new way to approach it, and you might feel like you need to take a detour to make this adventure become a reality. But please do be patient with yourself. Honestly, this transit is quite quick. The sun moves quite quickly. So therefore, this block will most likely get resolved, or you'll find a way to work around it quite easily as well. Then on December 6th, we have Mars going retrograde in your 2nd house. Throughout its retrogradation, I don't know if you can really say that word, as it's going retrograde, Mars will end up also entering your 1st house. So you will find that up until February of 2025, the themes of this Mars retrograde are ones of your 2nd house, finances, but also ones of your 1st house, such as your identity and setting clear boundaries with others. What we see with a Mars retrograde is things not going to plan, the actions that we want to take, us not being able to take them. And we see a lot of stop and go reactions with Mars retrograde. And what that could lead to is frustration, of course. We all get frustrated when we want to do something, we're motivated and we start doing it and we can't. So please be mindful of the amount of frustration up until February. And I think for you, Cancer, especially because Mars will be retrograde in your 1st house a little bit later, you might be one of the signs that really feels that frustration, that really feels like everything you do is just, you're not able to get anywhere. So do be mindful to take care of yourself and just keep in mind that this is temporary. Once February comes around, you should be able to see some good fruits of your labor. The next day, on December 7th, Venus enters the sign of Aquarius, and as it does that, it conjuncts Pluto. On this day, we also have the Sun opposing Jupiter. So this could be quite a challenging day because both of the good planets, Venus and Jupiter, are in not so comfortable positions. What this could look like for you personally, Cancer, is that your inner work might be, it might feel like it's stalling, it might feel like it's not going anywhere, it might feel like things are just not gelling there. Perhaps the practices that you have are just not working anymore. You used to journal and that used to work wonderfully for you to process your emotions and thoughts, but now it's just not working anymore. And as a result, you end up closing off to somebody. You end up not being vulnerable with them. You end up not being able to be intimate and tell them what you're going through. We see you facing some of this Pluto in the 8th house, where you are really struggling with the nakedness, the vulnerability that can happen when you open up to somebody. Honestly, it's a jam-packed few days, but I promise we're almost there. The next day, again, on December 8th, we have Neptune going direct. For you, Cancer, Neptune is going direct in your 9th house. So you might find yourself being able to dream again about some travel or some education. You might find yourself feeling a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more dreamy about different knowledge that you could gain, things that you would find interesting to learn and get better at. And you might be finding yourself really dreaming about some nice travel, perhaps for 2025. A couple of days later, on December 12th, we have an opposition between Venus and Mars. For you, Cancer, this is affecting your 2nd and 8th houses. With this opposition, you might be feeling pulled in 2 different directions. One part of you is sort of like this childlike tantrum that says, well, I don't want to have to rely on other people. I can take care of myself. I don't need others. I got this. And this other part of you that knows that just having good relationships, good people that you can rely on, people that you can just share what you're going through, and how that can already take a huge mental load off your back and already feel quite helpful and quite nourishing. So on this day, you might be really juggling those 2 opposing feelings. Finally, we reach the middle of the month, and on December 15th, we have a full moon in the sign of Gemini. This full moon for you, Cancer, is happening in your 12th house. So you might find that the actions you've been taking around your spirituality, the hard work you've been putting there, is reaping some results. You are starting to see the fruits of your labor. Keep in mind, however, if you've been slacking off on your spiritual routine, if maybe you've been making decisions there that are not really aligned with you, then you will also see the repercussions of that. Closer to this full moon, I will post a dedicated video for it. We'll go much more into depth. We'll talk about all of the zodiac signs again. So if you want to make sure you catch that one, then make sure you subscribe. A couple of days later, on December 20th, we have a trine between Venus and Jupiter. This should feel like a nice day where things are flowing a little bit more. And for you specifically, this trine is happening between your 8th and 12th house, which are quite internal houses. So you might be finding that your internal worlds inside, you just feel a lot more at peace, a lot more at ease. You might be finding a really nice balance between spending time alone working on yourself versus using the support of others to help you along this path. The next day, on December 21st, the sun enters the sign of Capricorn, or your 7th house, Cancer. So if you want to feel rejuvenated, alive, and ready to jump out of bed from the 21st onwards, then you need to be spending time with your partner. And you need to be spending time thinking about partnerships, perhaps working on being a better partner. But there's a huge partner focus for you in the upcoming month. On December 24th, we have a square between Jupiter and Saturn. For you, Cancer, the square is happening between your 9th and 12th house. What you might find is that your values are holding you back from reaching a new spiritual understanding of yourself and your life. It might be that you have a certain value that you're upholding that no longer matches you, that you need to get rid of, that is holding you from tapping into this wonderful understanding of what life is about and what being a human being is all about. Finally, we reach the last two transits of the year. One of them is on December 28th, which is a square between Venus and Uranus. Venus is in your 8th house and Uranus is in your 11th house. With Uranus in your 11th house for the last couple of years, you have really learned how to carve your own unique future ambitions, your own unique future goals. You know, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to get a degree, get a house, get married, whatever, get a child. And not to harp on any of those ambitions. But you may be Cancer going, no, I want to do very different things with my life. I want to set goals for myself that are uniquely my own, no matter what society expects of me. However, during this square, you might find that your unique ambitions, your unique future plans are somehow preventing you from being as intimate or as vulnerable as you can get. And honestly, this could play out in many different ways. But, you know, if I had to give an example, I think of this idea that one of your plans is to go live alone in a cabin in the woods somewhere. And you realize, but wait a second, I do have a partner I care about. And it might be very difficult for me to maintain this relationship that I really care about when I'm off living in a cabin on my own. So there might be some reconsiderations here that you need to do about your future goals and ambitions. And just like that, we reach the last transit on December 30th, which is a new moon in Capricorn in your 7th house. You are starting a new chapter with your partnership, perhaps a new chapter of the type of partner that you want to be. And this is obviously a really nice way to finish off December and to start the new year. Perhaps it's a New Year's resolution that you're setting in regards to your partnership for the whole year to come. And again, closer to December 30th, I will post a dedicated new moon horoscope. So if you want to catch that one, make sure you subscribe. So, Cancer, if we had to summarize, in December, we do see a couple of very strong themes that are front and center for you. Partnership, and especially being intimate and vulnerable with your partner, are definitely one or two of those themes. We also saw your values pop up quite a lot. You are probably thinking a lot about what it is you value, how it is that you want to structure your life, what do you want to make important in your life. And we cannot forget your spirituality. This has come up quite a lot during the transits in December, so you're most likely going to be thinking a lot about that as well. Overall, though, I hope you're excited. I do think there's a good opportunity here for growth, Cancer. And if you're not excited for December, then at least you have 2025 to look forward to. Don't forget that I am doing year ahead readings for 2025. There's only 5 of them available. Make sure you snag one up before they're gone. I'll leave the link down below in the description box and in the comments. Thanks, Cancer, and I hope to see you again soon.